I met a doctor once who told me over 50% of symptoms resolve with simply a diagnosis. Now, I've never been able to verify this information, but he went to medical school and seemed confident, so I take him for his word. A few years ago, I was diagnosed with vasovagal syncope, and this is the story of how that came to be. The first time I fainted was in the 6th grade. I was sitting in health class in the front row, kind of off to the side, like these folks here, and kind of, somewhat paying attention as I was growing accustomed to doing in school at this time. And she started telling a story about a radio contest where 3 contestants drank a gallon of water, and whoever could go the longest without urinating won the contest, won the prize. Well, it turns out the winner of this contest actually died from some sort of chemical drowning or anything. And I was sitting there, now paying full attention, and really freaked out. Like, what a fucked up way to die. Like, are you kidding me? And then I started thinking, man, I kind of have to pee a little bit. And then all of a sudden, I had this horrible feeling of nausea in my stomach, and the walls started closing in. And the next thing you know, I was in the hallway with the nurse and my teacher with my feet propped up on a chair. And they were asking me questions about what's my name and where I am and who the president was. And they called my mom in, and she came in, and she took me to the hospital. They ran a bunch of tests, EKG and everything. Everything came back normal. Doctor said, well, he looks fine, so, just keep an eye on him. Years went by, no problems. Till I got to college, and I was sitting in a 300-level class with a big auditorium of classmates, a couple hundred students, and my physiology professor was teaching about energy systems. And he was saying that the first energy system we use is the phosphocreatine system. And this lasts about a few seconds. And actually, it lasts as long. You can test it. Everyone be careful if you want to test it on your own. You push your eye against the side of your skull, and as long as it takes for the lights to go out, that's all the oxygen, that's the creatine being used, and there's no oxygen now to your eye. That's how long the creatine system lasts. So we're doing that in class, and the next thing you know, I'm nauseous and being woken up by terrified-looking classmates shaking me awake. So that was the second time. Then the third time was after college. Me and a friend were going to see the movie Deadpool in theaters, the first one. And I'm not a real big superhero guy, but Deadpool's a superhero I can get behind. Cursing, laughing, funny. I liked it. So we got to the movie theater, smoked a little joint, went in there. I don't know if all of you know, I hope this is not a spoiler, but Deadpool got his powers. They injected him with this serum of something, and they put him in a chamber and suffocated him just to the point of dying, but then revived him, gave him enough oxygen to survive, and did this for hours and hours, kind of in a torturous manner, and his skin got really defected, and it was really a horrible scene. I've never been good with, torture scenes. Tim's story was really freaking me out over there. And some people will go around calling themselves an empath, but I really live this life. And, the next thing I know, here comes the walls closing in, and my friend's shaking me awake. Oh my God, are you okay? Are you okay? And I'd fainted in the movies, and I told him, no, this seems to be happening. I'm okay. I'm okay. So there was a few more incidents that occurred, but the fourth and final one I'll tell you about today was with me and my good buddy Roman, who's actually in the crowd tonight for the first time. Roman, go ahead, raise your hand. Go, stand up. There he is. Me and my good buddy Roman bought tickets for the Dead and Company, the Grateful Dead cover band with John Mayer. And I don't know why we bought the tickets. They were at Hershey Stadium. Neither of us really listened to the Grateful Dead, but once we bought the tickets, we started listening, and we really fell in love with the music and the whole kind of lifestyle kind of thing. So the show was on Saturday at 7:30, and we get to Hershey Park Stadium, right around 7, and we parked the car at the first parking lot we could find. And we're like, we're not in any rush. It's the Grateful Dead, nobody, we'll get there. They're not starting on time. Come on. So we park and we crack a couple beers and smoke a joint, and we decided to do some mushrooms. I mean, it's the Grateful Dead, right? And this is kind of the scene. So we take the mushrooms and we go, okay, I guess, there's really no one else out here. I guess it's time to go inside. So we start walking, and it's bridge after bridge after bridge so far, and the mushrooms start kicking in and getting a little weird, and we get to the gate and we hear the music. We're like, is that an opening band? What's going on? And we find our way in and we hear Tennessee, Tennessee. And it turns out they were already halfway through their first set. And we have to scramble and try and find our seats, and the mushrooms are all kicking in, and we're getting all looping. It's a big crowd. Finally get to our seats, and we relax, and we start to enjoy this show. And they're playing the last song of the show, and John Mayer's just ripping it. I told Althea, and the lights are going, and everyone's really into it. The next thing you know, I feel some bumping against me, and I turn, and Roman has this terrified look on his face. He's pale as a ghost. He's sweating. He's saying, I gotta get out of here. I'm gonna fall over. Oh my gosh. I turn to him, I'm like, it's okay. You're fine. Just breathe. Just ride through it. And I get him through it, and the song ends, and we sit down, we relax, and then they turn the lights on. And I don't know if any of you have taken mushrooms, but they kind of come in waves. And as I was coaxing Rome out of his fear, my waves had gone away. But when the lights turned on, the wave kicked in, and everyone was green. And I started feeling really weird. And the next thing you know, the lights went out. And then Rome was waking me back up. Are you all right? Are you all right? He was terrified. He thought he had to take me to the hospital or call. He didn't know what to do. So that was the last time. Finally, after all this, I said, I got to go to the doctor. I got to figure out something's wrong with me. So I go to the doctor, make an appointment, and I tell him the relevant information. And he looks at me and says, you have vasovagal syncope. Basically what's happening is, when you get stressed, your body goes into a fight or flight mode, and you're not a fighter. No, I'm just kidding. He didn't say that, but he implied it. It was implied. And your blood pressure drops and you faint. So I said, so you're saying it's all in my head? He's like, well, kind of in a way. And I'm proud to say I haven't fainted since then. Thank you.